I'm just I'm just checking James didn't fall over because just before you guys started applauding, you said "oops."
Yes, I had the wrong audio selected, so people heard me say 3, 2, 1. I,
Fair
I, I
enough.
do
Fair
I
enough.
do apologize.
Never mind, never mind.
Ugh.
Okay, everybody. Well, welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News.
Yay.
These are going to be our the headlines for the week ending 5th of December,
That's
which is actually,
insane.
by a remarkable coincidence, that's the actual day we're recording this and going out live right now. It said it won't be right now if you're looking in replay, so I better shut up before I confuse you. Oh dear. Right, my name is Mal. Yeah, Mal Burns to be precise. First name Mal, second name Burns. But on the interwebs, you're not going to believe it because I'm forever squashed. Yeah, we've heard of compression, but really, that's a bit much. Squashing me indeed. But if you want to find me on Twitter, which is where I keep a load of the links I'm going to be talking about, you've got to go to twitter.com/. Mal Burns, Malburns, no spaces or anything. Or indeed our companion Twitter, which is twitter.com/metaworldnews. Again, no space between the two words. Anyway, that is fine. And of course, and we are, but we'll come to that later. You no doubt heard the voice next to me, and of course, it is none other than my colleague James Atlloud. Hello, James.
Oh, hello, Mal. it's a
And you
uh,
have asked. Oh, sorry.
no, no, just not. I'm not quite on the ball today, so apologies, but I'm getting there.
Never mind.
We are. Yep,
You
yep.
have got a suitably out loud t-shirt on anyway.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. I just
Something.
yeah, I went looking for something festive and glow in the dark, and so this is from last year. This is something from the Sansar Comet store, but I don't know
Ah,
if you can see closely. It's the 21st of December 2020 Twinkle
right.
Twinkle Town celebration. So
Ah, okay. Right. So I wondered about that. I couldn't. I saw the days, but I didn't click on the year.
yeah, just
I,
trying to
I, can,
get
I can even see the time, but
right.
it's unfortunately yes a year ago. Not very
But it's a
helpful, really.
nice
Not very colourful.
it is
Yeah,
a
it's a
nice
good
glow in the dark. So I've got the in the darkness it shines really brightly. So that's quite
yeah.
nice.
Ah, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, I don't know if people have noticed, but our
They can.
typefaces are not working well today. I had
They're a bit different. They look
our
fine. They look
our
fine.
beautiful Metaworld News font is not working on my computer today. And
Yeah.
yay Windows. let's just disable a font today. That would be fun.
It'd be much more fun if I could disable Windows full stop. But
Right.
I
Indeed.
do most of the stuff on the Mac, but I can't. I tend to need the dreaded dozer.
Yep. Yep.
Dozer
Yep.
number one or dozer number two. I need two of them because they're dozy.
Right.
Anyway, yes. So, and of course, James is fiddling with knobs in the background where you can't see him, making sure that you've got lots of angles of me on screen, and indeed you will be seeing my desktop and my slideshows and my videos, and everything will sort of come in the studio. They're on the screens behind me here at the side,
Hmm.
which I don't know where you can see live. I'm not looking, but yeah. Just stuff the way it works. So thank you to James for that.
Hmm.
And yeah, we do hear from him now and again too. We've heard a lot from him just now.
Yeah. Chatty.
Keep it up. Keep those thoughts coming, as it were. Okay. Well, I've given you the date. I've given you my name. I've introduced James, and yeah, I think we're about ready to fire off, aren't we?
Hmm.
Um, on screen at the moment, if James wants to show it temporarily, there's just a graphic for Open Simulator, which is kind of an open source version of well, it's a distant cousin to Second Life. The code is all a bit different, but to most users who log in with something like Firestorm, but it's intuitive because the controls and everything are pretty much the same. If anything, it's slightly less laggy than Second Life, which of course is also a good thing. And yeah, so that's quite colourful. I mention that because I might as well tell you now, folks, we're not going to be here next week. But don't you dare accuse us of being lazy, because we're going to be spending 2 days filming this Open Simulator. Sorry, this Open Simulators Community Conference. It's called the OSCC. So, and at precisely this time next week, I will be hosting one of the 2 lunchtime panels I'm doing there. I
Hmm.
call them lunchtime panels because it's on Pacific time, and it's noon. The panels are on Saturday. I'll be looking at the new open source um, metaverse, dare I say, the new open source and interoperability, and then Back to the Future. Oh no, Future to, oh I forget, something like that for the Sunday one. So I've got they're spread around there. I've got Adam Frisbee. I've got Ivo Haining. I've got Dusan Writer. Who else have I got? Oh, well, there. Luminaries galore. so,
Hmm.
it might even surprise me by turning up. So, yes, that will be taking us next week, which will probably allow us to do one more show in a fortnight before the sort of
The
holiday
end of the
break.
year.
But I can tell you definitely we're not here next week. Or rather, we are, but we'll be on the Avacon channel and we'll be in World at the Open Sim Community Conference. So if
So
you,
Mal, I've put the URL for the conference in the lower third, just as
oh,
a
that's
reference.
nice. I can't
Yep.
actually see it because YouTube have coughed up a big yellow bar
Oh.
saying talking. Oh no, it's just saying something about keyframe frequency. No, I can see it now.
Okay.
It's just YouTube's studio being awkward, saying, "Oh, we can't.
Right. Right.
Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not being sent often enough, which can cause buffering." Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But we're not going to worry about it now. We're on air. Tell me that before I go on air if you
Hmm.
want to be useful, Google or YouTube or whatever you are, Alphabet. Right, okay. So let's move on. I've got that picture. While I'm here, let's see if I've got anything else amusing. Oh yes, we're on the picture show, aren't we?
Hmm.
Well, they're behind me. Um, I think it was Dr. Fran who posted this little one. Um, oh, hang on, that's not how it's meant to look. Oh dear, can't win, can we? Um, okay, there you are. I think it's come up. Yeah, there it is. It's sort of up. If you can't own the precious physically, I think that precious is meant to be like the Tolkien one or something.
Hmm.
So you can't own the precious physically, but you can pay to have your name listed as its owner in an online distributed database. Uh, sort of basically an explanation of NFTs. Right, okay. Let's see what else I've got. Oh, yes. It's done it again. Auto image size doesn't seem to be kind of happening, does it?
Wow.
Oh dear, just me. Right, and manually zooming out is getting a bit. Anyway, basically, this is there's a hashtag OSCC at the Twitter.
It should be OCC 21, I think.
The-
Is
uh,
that the
uh,
hashtag?
There we are. Right,
Yep.
I've got it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So it's next weekend. As I said, we'll be busy with doing stuff. So that's the 11th to 12th of December, of course. And yeah, the hashtag is OSCC21. And I guess if you follow that hashtag on Twitter, you get up to date notices about what's going on, and presumably a reminder, just in case. You never know. Those of you who don't put it in your diary, etc. Okay, what else have I got here? This is way in the future. This is going to be in 2022. It's going May 30, 31st and June the 1st to the 4th. This is the International Conference of Immersive Learning, and they're the 2 days in May are in Vibella at the virtual campus, and the days in June are actually in Vienna, in Austria, though I presume there'll be some kind of live stream. Strictly speaking, is anybody can go and get in. By the way, and there's an all you can follow at the bottom. And Vivella is quite a simple, easy to use platform, by the way. Although obviously, as you can tell, it's more to do with education than anybody else. But it's part of the IEEE Foundation or whatever they're called. Right, okay. Well, we got some more quotes here, maybe. Oh God! Oh, this was a good one. Um, oh, that's a way of doing it. I don't know. Barely readable now. This is a tweet from somebody called Theo Priestley. He said he's amazed at how both Second Life and Entrobo Universe are constantly ignored when it comes to learning from their mistakes and triumphs for metaverse builders over 20 years of history. Yeah, the interesting. I agree. I mean, this comes up all the while. I mean, of course, there is a lot more to Life than Second Life and Entropia Universe. There was there.com and a whole load of others, but and this Open Sim I've just been talking about. Been around there for a decade or a decade and a half, or almost 2 decades for Second Life. So uh, they're frequently ignored in the buzz, or the buzz at the moment, or maybe not totally ignored. I hasten to add, but quite a lot. So it's a real case of sort of reading about metaverse this, metaverse that, and in fact, a hell of a lot has been done over 10 years ago, and but that's probably the reason they're ignoring it. All these big companies want to pretend to be the first, and they don't like being told that they're 20 years late. But there you go. Here's another one. Oh God, Bill Sives. Okay. Argon the Devil, #1. Anyway, this was a direct message to me, I think, or a comment. Um, oh, yes, actually, well, this will make more sense later on when I come to a news item. But he said, it's never made the slightest bit of sense to me why houses in Second Life have bathrooms and kitchens. They take up space better spent on sex toys.
I like that.
This is a comment. There was an article which we will get to later about toilets in virtual worlds. No, it's quite, it's nothing outrageous, just something a bit odd. Right, okay. Oh yeah, here's a good one. I don't know how easily folks can read that at home. I might need to certainly on the
Yeah, looks good here.
Yeah. Okay. I shall ask James for that matter. Do you know anything odd about this? You, of course, are a Quest user, aren't you?
Well, let me see here. VR prescription, non-prescription. Oh, well, I know that the host of the VR download, Kyle, often talks about being a bespectacled individual, and
Yeah.
the fact that he has, and so it's possible to get prescription lenses for the Oculus,
Yeah.
excuse me, for the MetaQuest. I
Yeah.
think that's what is happening there.
Yes. Basically, it was Black Friday or Cyber Monday or something like that. So they were on sale. But yeah, what I was laughing at is how much you save. 79.99 instead of $80,
Mm-hmm.
and 44.99 instead of $45. What a saving!
I see. Uh, that's hilarious.
I wonder how many people fell for that one.
Uh, uh,
Save what? Save 1 cent on
right. Egad.
some Zuckerberg. Okay, but anyway, well,
Wow.
I suppose they have got something off, even if it's only a cent. But we've got only Facebook money grabbing there. Okay, I'm going to do all the pictures to get us going, actually, because
Yeah.
why not? We'll
Mm-hmm.
take a break. We'll look at videos. Okay, meta traversal. People are trying to come up with a notion for jumping between instances in worlds, moving easily between worlds at the bottom there. This came up through the Omni people, really, although I actually thought it was oh yeah, no, that's right. They capitalize the T's, make it look odd. Meta traversal. Seems to be a player for a name, basically. Although whether one even needs to use the metas, I don't know. But Omni, of course, predates the God Emperor Zuckerberg's takeover of the concept of metaverse. And so Omni actually stands for Open Metaverse Initiative. So, um, but people are tending to play that down um, at the moment, or deliberately misspelling to like metaverse or something. Although that's not new; they've been doing that for years. Right, moving up, moving up. Good, yeah, great, great graphic, great. I mean, what else can be said? When real life is becoming increasingly impossible, reuniting with friends through VR will be the way of the future. Couldn't agree more. Well, some people don't agree, but they'll be dead. They'll still be going out and getting COVID, won't they? Sorry about that. Oh, talking about
Yikes.
OMI, this is one of their illustrations about their aims, basically. OMI is something we'll be discussing at the conference, but they, uh, well, you can find them on Twitter and things like that. And they have a Discord channel, which is the main focus, really. But they don't overly advertise this. They don't, they're obviously keen not to get too many freeloaders in. Anyway, making the metaverse more human by collaborating on research, privacy, accessibility, maintaining sustainable innovation by creating a cooperative, sustainable culture of innovators, consistently deliver value, incrementally discover and deliver value with intent, incentivize contributions by empowering the people making the metaverse, and to cultivate resiliency by championing freedom of voice and diversity. God, I got all that in one there without a breath, I think. Anyway, that's me for you. Um, okay, what else have I got to? Yeah, this is. Um, the title of this graphic goes about maintaining lockdown again. But yes, yeah, I don't quite get the concept of the lockdown thing, except for this reminds me more of the new Meta, i.e., the old Facebook logo. It's a bit of an angle with all its bits falling apart and the wires inside. I don't know, but it's. I clipped it because I can think of ultimate. I can think of probably there'll be reasons for wanting to recycle that graphic on a show or something at some point. So that's it, and yep, yeah, I've done them all, haven't I? So that was my title graphic for this week. I like having a different graphic every week just for the default on the slideshow, sort of symbolising future and virtuality and all that stuff. So I will actually put that away. And we are now going to move to. Oh, my monitor's gone to sleep. Love it. We're now going to move to the web pages, or some of the web pages for this week. And whilst we, of course, are bringing you the highlights, as it were, for the 5th of December, this is actually the highlights for the week ending November 29th, and it comes as usual from our friend scarredghost.com. Cue the music. Ooh. Yeah, it's quite quiet today, actually. Don't know. Must have been all those Halloweeners scared the poor ghost off. Anyway, this is the XR Wheat Peak, as he calls this, talking about Black Friday deals, investments in the antique, and various things. Most anything important for us that we would have been in there will be with something we probably had on our feed last week, but he covers different things as well. And the antiques lightship, of course. Um, Resident Evil. That's, yeah, a few things about games. But he does a lot of hardware reviews too. Does a bit of everything, and all of his things are so damn long. Anyway, you'll find us at skullghost.com. So that's blog is actually called The Ghost Howls, which is why we come up with the howling thing. SKARREDGHOST.com is the actual address to find him. And that same website will be featuring a couple of times later too, because he's got a couple of other interesting things this week. In fact, indeed, he posts more every day than we have able to feature here, where we're doing a summary really. So let's put that one away and move down to the first thing that is actually news from this week, so to speak, that qualifies for the last 7 days. And again, this would be 29th, that's probably Monday. I can't remember for sure. Big XR news from Glue, INMO, HTC, Vive, Meta, XYZ. Just a few there. So they again, this is xrtoday.com, which I think I've only actually just managed to get them into my feeds. So I've been getting a few from them at the moment. xrtoday.com. And to be honest, this also is a bit like Scar Ghost. They're breaking down last week, the week before last, in fact, a lineup of XR updates and announcements. So the stuff about glue and real estate, they're how shall I say, they're brief as it were. They're self-imposed brief anyway. It's a bit different from Scar Ghost and different from us too. But again, it can. It's just a source of what's been going on, really. Augmented AR headset called Atom from XYZ Reality, and INMO Air at about 300 UK pound. Actually, what is that? I forget. Oh, of course, it's consumer grade smart glasses or smart glasses. I think that was a typo, or I don't know. Maybe it's
I
not.
like it though.
Maybe it's a new thing called gallasses.
To wear with your galoshes.
Well, yeah, well, in Scotland, it could be a gal or it could be a lass. So it's just, if you're a gallass, you.
Sure, sure.
Or on the other hand, some naughty old Scotsman might be talking about gallasses. Yeah,
Okay.
forget it. I shouldn't have said that one, should I? Right, okay. Anyway, funding secured there. So find it. xrtoday.com is where you want to go for that little roundup. Moving on before I get into trouble. Right, now this was interesting. A lot of people focused on this during the week. This is actually a site called axios.com, axios.com. And Stephen Tortillo here is somebody who's been writing about, decades ago or more about Second Life and other things. Anyway, he grabbed Philip Rosedale, the first of Philip Rosedale appearances. Actually, I think it's 3, but it was covering 2. Early metaverse architect Philip Rosedale. He'll like that. He's not an architect, he's a physicist, but I mean, no matter, doesn't matter, does it? Right. Is no longer confident that the metaverse will be a huge hit, despite the surging interest from Meta and many other companies. Poor Philip, he's been changing his mind about a lot of things when on the philosophy of things. I mean, we all have been really. I mean, but when giant corporations like Meta sort of get involved in this, and then the big gaming companies, and sort of they're coming in late, but they're coming in, brutish, with their money. They're still trying to stompede over everybody and each other, and more and more, the reaction to Zuckerberg's announcement about the metaverse has been, by and large, people are scared. They find it a dystopian vision, and I suppose 20 years ago, Philip and me and a whole load of other people were sort of feeling kind of a bit more utopian about it. But it's one of those things. It's like counterculture of the 60s and 70s was very optimistic, and sort of within about 20 years, so some of it had been incorporated into the mainstream, the rest had been stomped out, and a lot of the visionaries were sort of moaning, you get the wrong people are getting involved and blah blah blah. and yeah, and maybe the early things, you know, virtual spaces on the web at least, or via the internet. It's all a bit the same, really. Very, very optimistic about all of them for a while. I mean, we used to have a program which was basically music where we were jumping around the metaverse. We go from Second Life to OpenSim to there.com to Kitely, which was not Kitely, Lively, which was Google's thing at the time, and then the one that was another good one that Yahoo bought out and haven't used ever since. But yeah, anyway, so this was actually quite a big, quite a long print interview. There's no audio on this or anything, just and summary about what Rosedale thinks we learned from Second Life, and hoping that some of today's metaverse energy eagles will at least result in public spaces, and yeah, so on and so forth. So to read this, you want to go axios.com. And the summary I got on here is really just touching on the highlights. There's quite a lot more in that talk. Right, moving on. And this is the Wall Street Journal. Rather simple L for this one. It's WSJ.com. And so long as you realise the WSJ is Wall Street Journal, it should be easy to click on, shouldn't it, really? If you ever have a problem going to a bigger site like Wall Street Journal and can't find the article I'm speaking about, then go to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/Mal Burns, and if you click on the link to the article I'm talking about there, it will take you to the exact page. I can't give you the exact page in the viewer I'm on while I'm broadcasting. So WSJ.com. And the brands no longer see metaverse-like worlds as abstract gimmicks. Well, there's got to be some good things that come out of this, I suppose, aren't they? Chippewa, Vans, and Verizon turned to Roblox Fortnite in an effort to build brand recognition. So it's not people just launching virtual worlds left, right, and centre, but also companies jumping either having their own ideas about what it is and going that route, or actually jumping to the ones that already exist. And so places like Roblox and Fortnite in particular are attracting a lot of, shall we say, brands, I suppose, enterprise into the world. Again, that's a very quick summary. That you'll find that at wallstreetjournal.com. Right, move that item. Okay, we have two, I think, this week from Kent By at Voices of VR. This is 10,000. Sorry, no, that's not quite that long. 1,024. Still a mighty episode number, really. Using VR for non-profit outreach and fundraising with Hope for Haiti. Basically, it's an organisation, non-profit in Haiti. Their goal is to improve the quality of life for Haitian people through education, medical, clean water initiatives, and economic development programs. And their director of development is Sarah Porter. You can see a little picture there. And basically, Kent landed an interview with her talking about it all. Not much in the summary there. This is obviously a podcast, as you know. He says you can try Hope for Haiti is an experience that is available on SideQuest, and he includes a link. And you can obviously play this at voicesofvr.com. But I have yet to come across a podcast player, where it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, that can't actually subscribe to Voices of VR. So it's so as you remember the name, you can look it up pretty darn easily, and yeah, good stuff there. Just trying to see. Okay, I'm going to jump down. Right, number 1025. I'll just jump down right down my list for consistency here. Is his latest one is full body trap dance performance on identity and avatar discrimination. In Exploring Home with Lisa Sarah Lisa Vogel. Vogel. There's meant to be a vowel between the G and the L, surely. Right. Anyway, it's a full body track dance performance held in VR chat. Premiered at Venice VR, expanded, etc., etc. And once again, it's basically Kent's short summary there, but basically it's an audio interview with her. And I think elsewhere there is actually a video clip of this performance too. Um, whether it's one I've got to show, I'm not sure. Anyway, so once again, voicesofvr.com, voicesofvr.com. And now I can get rid of that one and get back to the top of my list. We're making good time today. I can see the bottom already. Right. This is vrfocus.com, vrfocus.com. Manus launches its free motion capture software, Polygon. The product is called Polygon, so it's Manus Polygon. It's motion capture software that's Steam VR compatible and free to download. Manus themselves build enterprise-level data gloves for finger tracking and haptic feedback, etc. But over and beyond hardware, they've released this Polygon, which is actually software. And I'm not sure what you can do, what you can really do with something like this without some kind of tracking. But Polygon can be used with any Steam VR compatible device, from Vive controllers to a basic setup of Steam VR Pro or Vive trackers, or Primex series gloves. And Polygon Free enables live streaming of the body data into both Unity and the Unreal Engine. So for builders, they can literally stream body dances or animations or whatever into authoring software like Unity and Unreal, and obviously it'd be interpreted according to those engines, but I imagine you can get some pretty realistic stuff. Various pictures are basically showing Manus' own hardware products, but the key information here was that the software product here is free. Right. Oh yeah, Manus Steam Pro VR trackers. I think, or was that just a glove? It's talking about €2,000 here, but actually apparently that's a pack of 6 of whatever they are. So I don't know. By comparison, 6 Vive trackers would set you back €835. I don't know. Anyway, there we are. Let's have a click on that. Probably one we've already seen, but. Well, that was fun. So, James, you're going to get a fancy yourself in your Oculus with a costume like that?
The only thing I've done with in VR with that kind of tracking would be, um, like mixing sandwiches and very mundane little things, where so
Mixing
this is also
sandwiches.
dramatic. Making sandwiches, mixing soup, the cooking simulators. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah. So you
probably
get
the
your
most
information.
hands-on I get with things. Yeah. That's too funny.
Not not a high energy dancer then.
Right, right, exactly. With
Uh,
and with such music, it's like
yeah,
wow.
that was good. I like that. I think I could you know, especially 40 years ago, I could have gone for that.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh, it's very
uh,
and very lightweight controllers. It looked like so. That's really
yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah. I mean that's yeah, and even what was on their head there is looked very light. Yeah, I mean I mean actually I mean it's another bad thing about the helmets really. I mean they're criticised for their weight, even though they try to make them lighter. But to do something as athletic as dancing or athletics for that matter, with that kind of weight on your head, it's not. It wouldn't
Mm,
seem to me practical.
mm,
A body costume that really isn't any more, doesn't add too much weight to your anatomy. But of course, that head is where you really feel weight, because it presses down through the whole of your body.
sure, sure. Yep.
But anyway, that was interesting, I think. So, you want to know more about that? Go to vrfocus.com where you can replay the video, I guess, and uh, various whatever you want to do. Right. Okay. So moving on from that one, and okay, immersive reality promotes inclusion. This is the Scarred Ghost again, or rather, a report from him. So cue the music. Can't resist, can we? We can't resist. The fun will wear off one of these days. Okay. Yeah, he hosted a guest post basically on the blog there from a British company here called Immersive Reality, and they immerse users inside environments without the use of VR headsets. As you can see, these are real people, and the VR environment is projected onto the walls, the floors, and everything around them. It also projects onto their bodies and casts shadows. So I mean, there's it's the light given off from the walls and the floor and the ceiling and stuff. You can't avoid that because it's a combination of an immersive reality, not just the 3D thing, but the actual stuff on the floor and screen is actually built, virtually. Um, yeah, like being in a sound, machinima or something. But your sort of real self and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's very hard to know. So looking at that little girl in the centre there, she's casting a shadow, and that's obviously affecting her face too. Oh, she looks like she's enjoying herself, fair enough. But there's nothing in the picture that gives you a sense of the level of immersion. But anyway, it looks pretty. So yeah, Skull Ghost. He's handed over his blog to a post from them basically. They're particularly interested because they want children with disabilities to disappointed. It's not a paid post, by the way. He wanted to give it to them, and yeah, various more videos there. Oh, yeah. I did that
So Mal,
myself.
we're getting a lot of breakup on the call. I don't know what we can
Oh,
do about it. Yeah. Let
Jesus.
me let me see what I have in Sansar.
Um, okay, work as someone I can tell. Got machines on it. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sansar's
Sansar's
better
better
than Discard.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, for voice as well, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, up to you if you want to switch. Although, oh, yeah. It won't affect the desktop stream, will it? Yeah. Well, my my voice is on in some sort. My lips are flapping. So that's for those of you who can guess what we're talking about.
No, I'm still struggling, Mal. Right, right. I'm not getting anything into OBS, and I'm sorry. Yep. No, and I think I'm having a problem with. I'm gonna have to put technical difficulties up on the stream. Sorry. Huh. Well, Mel, I don't know what's up here. I can't figure it out. Right. Yep. But OBS is not getting audio from any place. Yep. Right, right. I'm gonna try switching to a different audio device. Um, oh, sound, sound, sound. Sound is unsound. Okay. Try speaking now.
Yeah, I'm speaking again.
Okay. Yep, I
By,
think you
by
are.
the way, by the way, you are perfectly clear coming in to me.
Okay.
So it was obviously the other way around. So you think we're good to continue?
I hope so.
We hope so. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it won't be a...
All right.
Okay, okay. So cue the exit from experiencing technical difficulties. That's the word. Okay, if everybody can hear me now. Right, we were talking about Furious. I've just actually realised I was making a joke about Furious or Furious, but to make it even worse, can you see what they've done with their logo? The double O, they've used Meta's logo. I don't know whether that's a cheeky little thing they've done or whether it's maybe something they had all along. But their brand name has got two O's in it, and it's the it's the little God Emperor's logo they've nicked. Oh, mind you, he nicked it from a whole load of other places. Anyway, right, so XR today, XR, oh, sorry. XRTODAY.com is where you want to go for that. Um, the company, by the way, Furious, is actually owned by the Unity Technology Group, uh, who well known too, of course, um, and various reviews here about it. So it's always good to have ways of sharing 3D content actually on the web, or in their own browsers. Okay, moving on from that. Going to run through quite quickly here in case we get any more background disturbances, but we'll see what happens. Oh, right. Okay, nearing the weekend here now, of course, Friday, I guess. This week in XR, this is at Forbes.com, Forbes, and it's trying to sort of open roundup, which he always does at the end of the week. He's looking at virtual real estate and the real money it is making for realtors and stuff like that. And not much in the roundup really, just a couple of things really, and an advert for the This Week in XR. Different. It's not a video version or audio version of the actual blog. It's something different, but they share the name. So this is the written thing at Forbes.com, Forbes.com, and we'll hopefully come to the video thing later. Okay, virtual reality reporter.com. So that's 3 words, virtualrealityreporter.com, which I refuse to spell out for you because it's long, but I think you'll be able to remember it there, won't you? This is news that Steven Spielberg's Dreamscape immersive company has licensed the technology to power Zoe Immersive's 3D content creation platform. They're a no coding platform, which means you don't need to know any script and coding language really. Cross platform 3D creation toolset makes it easy for anyone to create and share immersive experiences. This was a skill that was previously only available to those who have a deep understanding, yes, of visual effects or game engines. But so technology will be used to create high-quality collaborative VR experiences such as virtual classroom or immersive training exercises. Okay, they give you more information down here. And unfortunately, as is very often the case, they don't give you a clue as to how much it's going to cost you. But if that's the sort of thing that is interested in, it sounds like very powerful stuff actually. So if you want more about that, look up the post here at Virtual Reality Reporter, 3 words squashed together, .com. And moving on again, we'll now come to okay, it seems to be travelling very fast into world, actually, of my desktop, so that's good. Right, the Scott Ghost again. For the final time, I suppose we better... Oh no, there's another one coming up. Okay, somebody called Marco Magnano is on safety XR Safety Week, which is next week, by the way. The literally from Monday through to Friday is the XR Safety Week. Scott Ghost talking about it here, and yeah, there's basically going to be various panels and things like that. But I've had 3 conferences this week, which is just absolutely daft, and it just seems to be the season. And I don't know that I'll spend much time at this one because I'm going to be more likely to be preparing for the conference next weekend, of course. But nevertheless, safety is an issue. It's good that it's brought up now in the early days of XR rather than when it would be too late to implement it, as it were. So Monday is immersive storytelling journalism. Friday, privacy and safety and digital human rights, which is I might pop into that one if I've got time. Again, I'm not entirely sure where it is. It's definitely been streamed somewhere. Okay, there we are. I've got a picture about it. So, yeah, day one, Beyond Gadgets: How to Report About the Metaverse. So that's their first stream. Let's click through to see what we can get live in 25 hours. Well, yeah. Oh dear. Oh. I can't click the thing that says remind me. Okay, so obviously it's going to be largely on YouTube. Doug Thompson, who's a writer who will be joining me next Sunday, is also on that, which is... And Scott Ghost is on this, so well, maybe I will check in tomorrow. 2 p.m. Pacific there, so for those of you in Europe here, it's actually 10 at night, which... well, Scott Ghost will be falling asleep by then, but so will I. Right, okay. I have to see about that. the fact that I can't actually click through to it. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Yes, yeah, done it. Aha, naughty me. Right, okay, so I'm going to subscribe to that while I'm at it. And I'm going to, oh, reminder is already on. Okay. Okay, so if you're interested in this, by the way, it's the XRSI is the name of the YouTube account, followed by space and then in brackets, XR Safety Initiative. I guess I hope you can all see that down there. I haven't got an easy way of magnifying it, um, but that's how you'll get to it. And 2 p.m. Pacific. I imagine that might be the first actual broadcast tomorrow. So I will be there watching it, or at least recapturing it later if need be. Okay, so let's dispose of that one. Oh Lord, I'm in the wrong place now, aren't I? Okay, moving on from that. RoadToVR.com. Okay, another familiar site for us. A study suggests that EEG could be used to predict and prevent VR motion session. EEG is electrocardiogram. Oof, I keep forgetting. Okay, then, well,
Can you hear me, Mel?
yes, I can. Yeah.
Uh, I think it's electroencephalogram
Right.
for the brain.
I now see nothing to do. Oh, right. Okay. I had something earlier in the week, which the nurse put all sorts of little nodes on my belly and sides and so that was something like an EEG, but it wasn't EEG. It was, I don't know what it was actually. I just lie back and let them do it. Gullible I am. Right. Okay. Well, basically, the idea is that they measure your brain reaction to things and see how study the way if you do get motion sickness in VR, trying to find out, measure, what's happening, how it's done, and also potentially warn you if you're likely to get it. Um, I don't really, I don't know. I mean, this is useful for diagnostics, I imagine, as scientists continuing to work to understand the nature of motion sickness. But I don't, um, I don't think there's like a thing where you're going to get a result and be given a pill to fix it. But anyway, interesting stuff happening there. So that's Ben Lang's kind of report on that study at roadtovr.com. That, by the way, is ROADTOVR, all squashed as one word.com. And move that. Right. Okay. This is medium.com. So to find this, you'll definitely have to click the link from my feed. I think this may be behind a paywall. I'm not entirely sure, but usually if you follow a Twitter link to Medium, it bypasses the paywall deliberately, apparently. But apparently, it's Medium's way of promoting their product. They've got a deal where somebody tweets a link to Medium, then as a rule, it will take you through rather than tell you you've got to pay. Although you get 3 things a month anyway. That, of course, is from the what's it movie, isn't it? Matrix. Chris Matho, he's been around a long while in virtual worlds, Second Life and stuff. While the tech industry has been focused on building virtual reality metaverses, we've been building the real world metaverse called XRPA.net. And it's designed for XR, which means both AR and VR users, and the requirements they've been working on are quite simple. Build a decentralized XR cloud database for pinning 3D models, NFTs, and spatial anchors to the real world at geographic coordinates, and making sure the pinned models will be accessible both AR and in VR digital twins. To build an AR browser that allows people who are physically near a 3D latitude or longitude pin content to get notified, so they can pull out their device to use it. To build a VR browser, interesting one for me here, that allows people to teleport or holoport to a given latitude and location address with latitude and location, of course, is geomap, so we're talking real world there. Or landmark can be immersed in a real-time digital twin of the physical location, buildings, trees, streets, etc., and interact with the pin content in their respective locations via desktops and VR devices. So I think the idea here is that you can, if somebody say goes to Stonehenge and they tag it or pin it or whatever they to call it, you know, and put augmented reality or virtuality stuff lots of that location, then you'll if you better look up that location in a VR browser or something and actually go to it without actually having to go to the real world location. Though the actual thing will be anchored, you know, the prompt or the layer, the augmented or virtual layer will be anchored, as it were, in the real geolocation. A bit complicated, but I can see where they're going. Lastly, but not least, AR and VR users should be able to see each other's avatars and communicate their respective experience. This means a VR user's avatar will appear in the real world, and AR users' avatars appear in the digital twins of their physical locations by allowing local and remote users to be truly co-present across dimensions and interact with the same pinned digital content. I'm not sure whether that sounds academic or like a like a science fiction novel. Co-present across dimensions. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so they're proud to announce they've accomplished their initial mission of building the following web-based real-world metaverse technologies: XR Cloud, Vicinity Engine, and XR Browser. And you can also they've also got something using A-Frame, which again is on the web, and OpenStreetMap APIs. Um, I went into virtual all about 10 years ago. It never got anywhere, but they were using OpenStreetMap APIs for building a kind of mirror world, and basically it was very cost effective because you can't actually use Google Maps or Street Maps without paying a lot of money to Google, whereas the OpenStreetMaps are just as good and don't cost you a penny. Um, it's sort of like so maps of Great Britain here. If you want to go, at one point, you know, all maps of Great Britain were copyrighted to the Ordnance Survey Company. You know, the people that sell the maps and everything else. But in these days, with sort of GPS and everything else like that, they've had to make a lot of stuff free because you can't keep selling old stuff, really, can you? Right. The screenshot of API running in Postman. That's not a very right. Okay, not a very good shot there. Okay, well you can find that out for yourself. You need to go to medium.com. It's Chris Match's post, but if you follow that through my feed, my Twitter feed at twitter.com/Mal Burns, you'll be able to get directly to it. Okay. Oh, now I mentioned at the beginning. Oh, actually, it's still on the screen. We had so my picture. Somebody actually DM'd me right with this comment. Oh, hang on. Let's back on. Come on, do it, you stupid freak. Go. I can't do it. Okay, he says it's never made the slightest bit of sense to me why houses in Second Life have bathrooms and kitchens. They take up space better spent on sex toys. Um, that was the reaction to this next tweet, basically. And it was an article by Hunter Walk called "Avatars Don't Poop, but you can be sure the metaverse will have toilets." Now, from rather juvenile message he sent me about this tweet, I've got a feeling he didn't actually read the article because it makes for a good headline, but this isn't really. This well, it's not about toilets, come to face it. This is apparently there's lavatory, shall we say, in The Sims. The Sims needed toilets because they did pee. That's a weird. Oh Lord, I'm going to have to. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to find the actual web page for this. There we are. Right, something to actually read now. It didn't work in my view. Okay, so this is 10.medium, medium again actually. ONEZERO dot medium.com. As a subsite of Medium, I think this is uh, um, oh no, two member free stories left. Okay, this looks like it is subscription, so you'll be advised to follow a link via Twitter if you can. Um, okay, Hunter Walk is it's basically what I learned from my own years building a virtual world. So he's got away with a rather a title that's caught everybody's interest, including some people who obviously didn't click through to the article. But this is going to be a bit of a 3D internet. Tech Reporter boldly wrote, when was this claim made? Not in 2021 by Zuckerberg, but in an early 2000s magazine article forecasting a rosy future for the virtual world. Yes, Second Life again. Hunter was working for Linden's at Second Life at the time. He was a young team member in his first startup post-grad school. As a non-engineer, I did a little of a lot and a lot of a little. Oh, that's funny. Um, and had tasks as diverse as writing community standards. This one's funny. Imagine this Linden Labs. He had to negotiate the software license for a physics engine and trying to forecast when a $400 out-of-the-box Dell Tower PC would meet our minimum hardware spec. You can just imagine what it must have been like fighting for in those days. No broadband and trying to launch a virtual world. Right, you emerge from experiences like these, he says in a Liam Neeson voice, with a very particular set of skills, and I'd say nearly 3 years at Linden Lab, the parent company of Second Life, certainly impacted all the work I've done since. So, nice little essay here. And if you're wondering about the reference in the title, the question about whether your virtual world should have toilets is fiercely debated. Well, actually, it's a bit like a seat. You don't need seats to sit in a virtual world at a conference, but many people have them because it's a familiar anchor. You feel like you should sit down and be quiet and listen to what's going on. To just stand there rather than sit, the emotion's a bit different. Anyway, so fiercely debated. Well, maybe not, but he'll tell you, watching our users build bathrooms and toilets in a world where avatars don't need to pee or poop, let alone have genitalia. Yes, it's true, avatars have attach points, etc., where it's possible for performance reasons was surprising, but it goes towards an understanding of what artifacts we carry forward from our banal humanity into these virtual spaces, and which we do actually seek to shed. It's why metaverse platform builders need anthropologists, not just engineers. Yeah, so there's a good one for you. You be an engineer, I'm going to be an anthropologist, or a philosophical whatever, philosopher.
Yep.
Right, okay, and he updates this. But this is a good little read. It really is a good little read, despite the, it could be Hamlet or this, couldn't it? Shock headline to get you in, which the person who commented on this obviously hadn't done.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Can you see the chat, Mal?
Um, on the channel. Oh, right. Right. Yeah. No notifications. Oh, right. Okay. Well, hello to Thursday James. Marcus. Well, we know James. Right. Okay.
There was some discussion about food and miscellaneous things, but Marcus chimed in on the verisimilitude of toilets and things like that, just like you said.
Yeah, it's a long conversation here. I do apologise, but I can't look at my screen and all the other things I'm broadcasting and the chat, which is behind my head at the same time. But just temporarily moving here. Yes, that's very good. Comparing this to ArtNet seems a bit of hyperbole. Yeah, I wondered about that. Oh, Thursday, thank you. So my friend Thursday says that you guys are on a roll, and then in brackets, toilet roll. Dear me, dear me. Okay, well, I'm glad they're all there in our room, as ever. Even though, well, Marcus I know is particularly busy rehearsing for our conference next week, but yeah, obviously found time out to pop in here. Okay, looking back at my screen, we'll come to a bit more chat lately. We're not quite finished yet. Hopefully, you've been able to hear us okay. By the way, we were having some sound problems earlier, but I think they've fixed now. So if James or
I think it's
Marcus,
okay. Yep.
yeah, I think it's probably a glitch in Discord's audio transmission or something. Okay, right. So, question: why is the fashion world, basically so obsessed with the metaverse or the? Well, probably don't know what the metaverse is. It's just trendy, and fashion people are trendy, aren't they? Well, something like that. Right, brands from here, there, and everywhere are seeing that the gaming community is one of fashion's great untouched customer bases. And they got a picture here. Again, this is a picture from The Sims. Although equally, it could, Open Sim or Second Life. I mean, the avatars in those worlds have been doing this stuff for ages, And in Second Life, particularly, there are many examples of real world fashion designers or manufacturers who brought their catwalks, as it were, into the virtual environment as a way of a cheap way almost of modeling real world costumes. But more importantly, there's masses of designers who work on prim costumes and stuff for the avatars. But they're not just it's just not the mechanics of putting together the item. It's actually the design of it. So there've actually instances now where avatar costume designers have now become real world costume designers. I suppose the way you approach it is very similar, whether it's virtual or in the real world. In the real world, it's for getting dressed up, and in the virtual world, it's for guess what? Getting dressed up, or doing a machinima, or theatre costumes as well. And arguably, in the virtual world, of course, you can take greater liberties than you can when you're walking down the street in the real world. There's some things that would get you arrested in the real world, which probably pass for okay in the virtual universes of many of them anyway. So, yeah, they're talking in the future. They're saying the year is 2045. Sounds like a pitch in a science fiction TV show from the 50s, doesn't it? The year is 2045. You're walking around Manhattan, provided it's still above water, wearing a pair of glasses that share data about the people, places, and things around you. You run into a friend. Fire outfit, you say, because your friend's outfit is literally on fire. Yeah, that reminds me of what was his name? Arthur Brown. Anybody in England might remember him, Arthur Brown. And I can't remember the name of his band, but he had a huge hit in the late 60s or early 70s called Fire. And he wore a helmet, which literally was on fire. And he was on Top of the Pops or something, and they almost had to shut down the BBC studios because it was a real fire on top of his head. It was quite safe, but BBC didn't like it. You can't come onto our TV show wearing a helmet that's on fire. Health and safety. Well, I don't think they had health and safety in those days, but anyway, they didn't like it. So, yeah. Well, you get the idea. You can be as outrageous as you want to be, and but there's a lot of crossover. Unfortunately, it's basically Fortnite and Roblox that are actually uh, grabbing the new interest. I mean, basically every fashion house under the sun now wants to be involved in this new thing called the metaverse, and particularly in non-fungible trinkets and blockchain and all that sort of stuff, which I'm not overly impressed with myself. Uh, but we'll see the way it goes. I'm quite happy that things like blockchain handle keys and things like that are ultra secure. But this NFT thing of yeah. Where's that picture we were looking at earlier here? There we are. This Thursday, I believe, is one that you put up. I've come back to it. I think you tweeted this and I grabbed it because I thought it was funny. Don't know whether she's still, yeah, she's still there. She can confirm.
Yeah,
One of
just
the best.
about 15 seconds behind. So
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. So the character, the computer there, I believe, is the Tolkien character, isn't he, from The Hobbit or something, called Precious. But so you can't own the Precious physically, but you can pay to have your name listed as its owner in an online distributed database. And yeah, that's pretty much says it all. Says we're staying quiet, but I'm pretty sure it was something she posted. So there we go. Anyway, back to back to the rabbit hole. Oh dear. Okay. I find this fascinating actually because it is very in it's almost a perfect creative crossover subject really. I mean, when we look at art, for example, like painting, for example, well, sure, you can paint in the real world and scan your things and hang them in a digital gallery, um, or you can create something like a whole build or an experience in the virtual world anyway, whether it's actually for virtuality or for the Second Life type thing. Um, but the two tend to be they're both art pursuits, if you like, but they are somewhat different tangents. Whereas fashion is fashion, and it's a good example of something that's almost equally weighted between the virtual and the real. You can see them crossing over quite a bit. Um, okay. Oh, yeah. Thursday says it's a good one, and she says, "I am on a wine delay." Oh dear. Okay,
nice.
that's a delay. Wine. I love it. Okay, well, believe it or not, you can find this article very easily by going to gq.com. That's G, the letter, Q, the letter.com. And again, you might, if you have a problem finding the actual page, then just go to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/malbones, and click on the link from there. Okay, so that was fun. Right, and my final text link here is again from the Scar Ghost, and again, it's about what we did mention already, in fact, Exile Safety Week, which begins tomorrow and runs all week. Um, and as I showed you earlier, I can't remember the long name of the thing, but it's actually at YouTube. This is scarghost.com, cue the music or not, as the case may be. He's getting enough of it this week, isn't he? Um, and I followed the link from his site here through to the site xrsafetyweek.org, xrsafetyweek.org. And there we are. A week for the people, events, and awareness and ideas. So Monday through to Friday. As I showed earlier, there is a way of getting through to that from YouTube. I'm just going to see what we get here. Oh, this is Eventbrite, so I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, it looks like if you follow those links, you can get to Eventbrite here. Oh, actually, this sounds like it's a bit like one of the conferences from earlier last week. It's entirely free, and I guess you can watch the streams on YouTube, or you can go to the actual virtual version inside Altspace VR. So I guess the panels will be conducted by avatars in Altspace and then broadcast out, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe everything's on video and it's projected into Altspace. I really haven't got a clue how they're doing it. Anyway, why you should sign up? You get the date information, get additional information about sessions, and you get to meet others in Altspace VR. So the degree to which you want to sign up and immerse is entirely up to you. But that's the link. It takes you to eventbrite.com, but that's not going to help you unless you do it via a link. So the bit you want really is xrsafetyweek.org, and then if you want to register, you can click there. And let's see. Metaverse is no longer hype. We're living in it. Blah blah blah. Okay. Reality Labs are the sponsors. Okay. Well, you can find out more about it there, and I will certainly be popping in to, as I say, the after lunch I think it was Pacific time tomorrow. I noticed Jason Writer is on one of those panels, so I'll be going in there. And he of course, will be joining me next Sunday at the OSSC on Sunday lunchtime. Right, okay, that's it for the obvious things. And now we come to my feed at Mastodon. Now, all these posts here at Mastodon are basically videos of interest to me, full stop. But they get the Mastodon link gets cross posted to my YouTube feed anyway, so you can get it there. Okay, this is a chap doing a first edition of a show he's calling Metaverse Diaries, and talking about Decentraland, New York Times article, and introing the series. It's we'll have to see how it pans out. Ooh, I'll just play little bits to give you a feel for it. You can certainly hear it, definitely. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, well hang on, I'll get on with it.
Hello, world. This is me. My name is Gabriel Baker, and I'm introducing a new YouTube series called The Metaverse Diaries. Don't know how often I'm going to update it, but I plan to do this pretty frequently. And we'll be diving into all things the metaverse, whether that's some new product out there, some new headline that I want to dive into about the metaverse. Obviously, it's a hot topic. So I invite you on this journey with me. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it's provocative for anyone interested in this space.
Right, well, there's the intro. And basically,
things kind of enter the space, and as the conversations about it change. So back to what I was saying. I did my graduate research on teachers and students using the metaverse.
So as you can see, he keeps it going with the webcam approach, and then he shows various things behind him. I think the also moves to the web a bit like I do here, for example. There, so he's got his own take on things, and it's all quite short. At 15 minutes, so well worth a look. I am going to click through to this pretty quickly because although I've got it, I know some of you out there may actually want to sort of subscribe or bookmark it at YouTube. The subscriber, the guy's name is Gabriel Baker, and it's spelled Gabriel and then a space and then Baker. So first thing I've ever seen from him, but I've subscribed. So I will no doubt get the other stuff as it comes along. Right. Okay, now I'm going to be going down my list in a second too, but this is quite useful at the moment. Two conferences of note this week. There was the Global XR Community Conference, which started on Tuesday, Wednesday, I think it was. And then there was the Into the Metaverse, I think it was called. That began on Wednesday and went through to Friday, if I've got that right. I can't remember. It's all a jumble. I certainly started the week at the Global XR Community Conference. Then I jumped into the Metaverse thing, and then I hopped back briefly to the Global XR, and then ended the week back into the Metaverse thing. So it was, but it was good. It was good. Both of the conferences, unlike say the OR event from the other week, there was something new to be gained, should I say, from kind of actually attending them. You know, a lot of the sessions were introducing new topics. They weren't all just rehashing old things about avatar identities and stuff. Anyway, getting down my list, we have episode 15 of season 4, Between Realities. They're all out and about. And their guest this week was somebody called Tech Manju. And again, most of these, it's just easier if you just want to watch them to play them from here, and then jump to full screen if you really want to. Sorry about that. I can't do it here because that would ruin the whole display. Now, this one I'm I've put these ones in, but by the time when they came through on the day, it was fine. But you basically can't get access to these unless you can't go to YouTube. You actually have to. The only way you can access them is their private YouTube recordings that you have to view through their website, and you have to be registered as an attendee. It's over now, of course, to actually go to the website and watch the replays. Now, I actually was a bit naughty because I have this filmed offline, but obviously I can't put them up anywhere without permission from the conference. So some of these embeds, unfortunately, now no longer work, and which is a shame. But I can probably get them up here. This one was very good. It had, for example, Richard Bartle on this one. They're reinventing entertainment technology for the on-chain metaverse era. Lot of good. That was a really good session. And this one, of course, everybody will love because it's Philip Rosedale. That one, I can give you a hint of what's. Let's see. I can probably give you a hint of what's going on here. Okay.
Hello everyone, welcome to another fantastic talk here from Tech Circus for Enter the Metaverse. We're so excited to have you here today. Listening in, we have Philip Rosedale, who is founder of Second Life and High Fidelity, and he's going to be talking all about socialization in the metaverse. He's got some fantastic audio, which we've just been talking about as well. It'll be sounding beautiful for all of you guys. So just a little bit of housekeeping from me. First and foremost, a huge thanks to Freeverse, who is sponsoring this particular talk today. Please do go and check them out in the Freeverse booth at the end of this session. But also, you will see there is a chat booth. Lots of you are already leaving fantastic comments here for you. So please do keep the conversations going. Philip will be looking into that as he's doing his talk. And then also there is a Q&A box there as well. Now, it's just very important for you guys to be asking all of the questions that you want to be asking throughout this particular talk, but also that if you see a question that you think is particularly interesting to you, then please do press that upvote button and Philip will know to go to those questions first and foremost. But I'm going to hand straight over to you, Philip, for socialization in the metaverse.
Thank you, Bex. Hi, everybody. I do hope I sound good. I think that's maybe one of the things we can touch on a little bit. I'm excited to be here. The chat and the QA panel looks very useful to me, and I'm reading it. So let's queue up a bunch of conversation there and have that at the end. I think that this is such an uncertain time, and there's so many interesting things going on. It's more useful to follow the kind of questions that people want to talk about rather than just blab on. In the sort of blabbing on category, what I thought I would do to start is talk a little bit about high level, where I think this kind of metaverse thing is going. I want to talk a little bit about, as is the title of this, how socialization and communication fits into that specifically. I'll also touch a little bit on how Second Life fits into all this, since that's my baby, the company and the world that I started back in 1999. Already seen some faces here from there. Hi. And then finally, I want to maybe set some cautionary notes about Web3 and about decentralization and blockchain-based virtual worlds in general, like we're all talking about, and just kind of, from my own experience, identify some of the things that I think might be challenging, and that I know are challenging and that we need to be thinking about. So let me just jump into that. If you think about this conference, it's kind of it's the point, right? Like, if this conference was in the metaverse, like if we were there now having this conference, what would it take to make this experience enjoyable enough to replace a live conference for the average person,
Right. Well, as I said, I can't show somebody else's material. I might try and arrange it, especially that one somewhere. A slight little anecdote here. Marcus and James might appreciate this one. At one point, we were talking. I think about open metaverse and stuff, and Franz, charming from Avacon, was in there too. And we mentioned the Open Sim conference, and he actually interrupted his talk. He said, "Go, go, go, Open Simmers," or something, and then got back on track again. So we got a little bit of a plug out of that, and we even managed to put a link in for the conference too. So who knows? People maybe coming from that particular talk. So yeah, very very interesting. All the things folks seems to be talking about these days have taken on a real sort of philosophical bend. About the future and the way things are going to be, and making sure that we don't harm the environment and all the other things that sort of, feed into what we might be doing virtually. Anyway, I've also now not quite sure where we were. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to right, engineered arts. This is, you can see from the little thumbnail there, these are some people working on robotics. And I have to admit that the commentary said these are some of the most realistic robotic faces that they've actually come up with yet. And I really rather agree. Silence, of course, here, except for background hiss, but oh, yes. You're very convincing. Beat my pussycat any day. This is not a movie clip, by the way. This is a robot in the real world today. He could do with a bit of the old fashionistas, couldn't he? But give him some clothing, or her. It's very hard to tell. I think I mentioned previously, I think it's South Korea, I'm not sure, that actually has, there is actually a robot sort of AI being that actually has official recognition as a citizen, a Korean citizen, I think it is. I might be wrong, but I think it's Korea. And, she gets more intelligent as time goes by, picking up information and stuff. And apparently she recently announced to her, I don't know, her crew, whatever, that she wants a baby. Which makes it that's a bit daunting when you realise that things have gone so far that they want babies. Anyway, let's have a look at what other clips I've got here for now. These are, I've got offline ones I'm showing you now.
Speaking.
I have to ask James, will you be having that one? It's coming to Quest next year, apparently. You use your Quest helmet and build your own cities and become a mayor or whatever you want to do, really.
Yeah, probably not.
No, fair enough. Okay, well, I had to ask, when I saw the word Quest. Oh, that's James's bag. Right, what else have we got here? Teaser for Sensorium Galaxy there. And this is all about frame.
since the company was started in 2014, we would gather together once a year. And what was interesting about this work trip was that it wasn't a work trip. It was about getting to know each other, and it was about hanging out and building that sense of community. And so when COVID came around and we no longer could do that, we sort of lost that connective tissue between our distributed teams.
The idea came to me about recreating the office. As soon as I knew that Frame could build a custom environment, it had to be that. It was always that. Whoa! Who's got an Oculus Quest 2 headset?
Wow. The process was really working with the photos of the office, the video footage of the real world office, and then really piecing the office together bit by bit.
I remember coming into the environment and I couldn't get more than a few words out. I saw our mural first on the wall, like recreated, and I was pretty much speechless.
This looks exactly like it.
This is awesome, eh?
Wow.
This is crazy.
This is so detailed.
Seeing the office for the first time in VR was very memorable, and my first instinct was, holy crap, the detail.
I think the real difference is how real it all felt. And the spatial audio plays such a key part of it, because you're having your conversation, but you're also hearing over your left shoulder conversations of other colleagues.
Welcome to Show Together. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks. Welcome to the New York office.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
What was great about this was it was a 95% approval rating for everything. It was just an absolute monster success.
So ultimately, it all felt real, and in that way, brought us all together. I think in a really different and unique way that I haven't been able to recreate anywhere else.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this looks good. Yes.
All right. Well, that's. I think a lot of you use web for business and stuff like that. Probably know Trello. You know, I forget the name they got for the boards, but they're like column notes boards. So they're it's a lovely tool for organising events, but organising yourself and projects that are done or pending completed and stuff like that. And they've also got a lot of people, as we saw earlier in that clip. So what they did is because of COVID, they held their company, this is their company sort of annual meetup, as it were, in virtuality. They were saying how real it was, but they are a bit legless, which I don't think is a requirement, because they built that using Frame. And Frame is a product for basically you've got Vibella, who make Frame, who create virtual worlds. So simplistic ones, a bit like this, that you build a world, you load it, and the people that are coming to your conference or whatever get a link, and it downloads not Vibella itself, but a customized version of Vibella, which unfortunately means that all these people using Vibella for their conferences, I have to have a different bookmark to launch the instance of Vibella. I'd much prefer if I could launch Vibella and then choose which conference I want to go to, but it's not working that way. So that's a bit difficult. But anyway, as you see, they filmed it there, and you saw all those people at the beginning, and the fact that they could have a virtual annual event that could accommodate all those people. I mean, it must be at least, it looked like 70 or 80 people were in that shot at the beginning. I'd have to go back and count. But anyway, that's basically a little editorial about what they did. Right, moving on down here. Oh. Okay, Trello Together it was called. I was about to repeat the same one. Okay,
imagine a virtual environment where you could be whoever you want to be. You could become a different avatar. You can exist in a virtual environment where you will have and you will own virtual things instead of having the real life physical things in your possession. So it could be a virtual car, it could be virtual land parcel, it could be anything you can imagine, because this could be created digitally. And the beauty about the blockchain and the combination of the blockchain and virtual reality is that you can actually finally own it for real. So you can authenticate that you actually are the owner of that item, and that is written on the on the public blockchain decentralized database. So I think the combination of those two things, where you are virtually inside some space and you own that space for real, is exactly what is revolutionary in this upcoming, let's say, battle for the metaverse. Let's call it this.
Sure, but when you're saying that you can own that space for real, how can it be real if I can't feel it, if I can't experience it for real? I mean, in my real existence.
Right, you actually can, because that's where virtual reality and the virtual reality headset, which mimics exactly the senses for you, and of course things like haptic suits come in, where you can actually feel touch of the other player. And I think I'll be happy to show you what I actually mean, how it is actually to be the digital me and talk to you from within the metaverse.
Yeah, and we'll come to that in a bit. But my good friend and colleague Sri Jagaraja and I were having this offline chat before you came on, and there's something that he said that stayed with me. Essentially, how does this virtual world essentially make our lives better? What is the use case here?
The easiest use case to understand is it opens up different possibilities for many more people than it is right now. Because right now, the economy in the world, like 2 billion people, they don't have even access to the banking system, right? And you are limited by geography. You are limited by nations, by economical backgrounds, by different things. But in VR, in the digital world, you are not limited by anything of that. You just have your device, you go in and you can become creative, you can start earning money, you can experience concerts, and you are not bound to a physical location or any regard. That will become, this will liberate a lot of people from being restrained to actually participate in the digital economy.
Oh, there we go. I have to say, Somnium Space and Arthur there. I read a lot of tweets, blog posts, feeds coming in and stuff, and I find it sounds like interesting articles to read. And I will go there and I'll find them there. They're links to a site called Somnium Times or Somnium TV or something. And I mean, I have to say that guy Arthur is making the absolute best of the networks in terms of promoting his world. Because often he's just publishing a lot of stuff which on the surface looks like interesting material, and it just seems to be an excuse to get him talking or to get him to go and see something or watch something in his Somnium Space world. And I have to say, the last time I was in there, I wanted to go to an event. I landed in a flat space with an endless horizon, and holding the shift key didn't help me run. But I sort of ran to the buildings on the horizon. 10 minutes later, I was still running. Clearly, those buildings, they were getting closer, but it was going to take me 2 hours or something. And I looked everywhere to find a map or some way that I could jump to the event. And I knew the event was on, but there's absolutely no way of just jumping into the world and then getting to the event. So that rather put me off. I've seen some stuff on video. It's fairly well rendered, but I mean, to me, the immersion, if you like, is not on a par with OpenSim or Second Life or something like that. These new platforms may look great and they may have fancy blockchains to play with, but they're lacking something of a spirit, I suppose, that we have in OpenSim and even walled gardens like Second Life. So that's life, as it were. Right, I'm going to put that little thing away and return to the page that I was on here. As I said, a lot of these things that were embedded from the Enter the Metaverse panels can't be played here at the moment, but that may change. They may make them public, once a certain amount of time has passed. So I'm going to leave them in there. Okay, there's a YouTube here, the Metaverse and the future of work and play. This is an hour 40 minutes.
Doesn't really matter, but
okay,
from one world to another, adding friends, inventory, trade, all of the things that you...
I think this may actually all be... I know, we get other stuff coming in later.
If I don't want my own, I want to be like, in a decentered land, but I don't want to build my decentered land, and I don't want like really decentered land. I want something. I'm looking actually for something else.
Right. That is a good question. You guys see my screen? It's really low resolution because I'm streaming 5 things. But this is just like an apartment that I'm running around. This is our engine. I can...
Okay, well, you get an idea of what's going on there. There's a mixture of... there's obviously a big presentation where he's got slides up and text heavy, but then he moves into conversational mode there later with webcams and stuff. Interesting, that bit. She was actually saying, she wants to build a sort of place for herself and stuff, but she doesn't want Decentraland. One of the things Philip mentioned in his talk was Esteban is the guy who runs Decentraland. And Philip said they'd known each other for a good few years and did a lot of talking on this sort of stuff. And I must say, Somnium Space is another thing entirely, but I feel like I should actually check out a bit more about Decentraland. They seem to be kind of in the right place, but obviously I can't do that now. We're not doing a live virtual cast or whatever. Okay, the people behind the Enter the Metaverse thing were actually a company called Tech Circus. So there's a link there to them at YouTube. No, it's not an embed. And Between Realities, I think 3 days ago. Okay, I think actually there's been. I think one Between Realities was late, and then they actually ran an extra edition as well, which is why we've actually got 2 there. Something else is quite interesting, especially if you use Discord. On Product Hunt this week, there was something called MetaPass by a company called Zelf, and it's banking in Discord for gamers. I signed up basically. If you join their server, it's called ZELF, and when you join there, you get they give you a virtual credit card almost immediately, or a pass card. I'm sure you can't actually spend it on anything until you put some money in, but very quick and fast. And their idea, especially with Discord, seems to be that they intend to be a bank where you can transact against various games, virtual worlds, whatever the metaverse is or isn't going to be. A bit like Chris Colosi did with his virtual currency in OpenSim. He tried to put it in a few other places, the idea being that you could have a wallet and you could buy things on any grid in OpenSim you went to, but you could also buy things in maybe, I don't know, another game, maybe IMVU or something. As far as I know, he didn't really get much of it running outside of OpenSim. No, admittedly, there's an awful lot of grids in OpenSim to accommodate. But this actually seems to be much more, it's not limited. It barely mentions a given platform here. It just suggests everything and everywhere that all the worlds that have chat through Discord, will be available. So, if you with this card that you get through the Discord channel, you'll be able to you'll be able to take money out of one world and put it into another, for example. Obviously they're going to make transaction fees, because if they're not charging for anything else, that's probably the only place it's going to happen. But if you think of it as like having your real high street bank, but sort of metaverse enabled, and you open an account with them and you get a debit card, I should call it, I suspect. Maybe credit cards later. Anyway, I thought it's interesting enough to include here because of its focus on Discord and games and virtual worlds. And what else did we have here? Oh yeah, this is November 27th. Right, we're back. We're at the end. We're back on last week. Very good, very good. So let's see what we've got here. Just shutter us away, and oh God, not again. put our display graphic up, and there we are. Okay, we're done. James, what do you think of life, the universe, and everything? Life's the metaverse and everything, or life the M word and everything?
I'm still thinking about toilets.
Cyberspace.
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, we've had enough. I wonder if this is something about lockdown again. I showed it earlier, but I suddenly thought, could that be comments on blockchain? Those are sort of blocks, and it's a chain, and it's an endless chain, and it bears a strong resemblance to the imperial logo of the God Emperor's place. Anyway, never mind. Just a little thought. Okay, folks. Well, that's it for this week, and indeed, for 2 weeks, because we will not be here next week. That I can assure you, because we're going to be even more busy over 2 days with the OpenSync Community Conference, which, of course, we mentioned earlier. And now I think of it, there we go. Oh, that's not very helpful, is it? I would need it to start. Hang on. Okay, that would do. Right. December 11th to 12th, Saturday, Sunday next week. And the hashtag on Twitter is OSCC21 to keep up with that. It's absolutely free to attend. You can watch the proceedings on YouTube on a channel belonging to the promoters Avacon, AVACON at YouTube. And but more importantly, you can use your Firestorm viewer. That's the same one you use for things like Second Life, to actually attend. In fact, in many ways, it's a cousin of Second Life. You wouldn't even know the difference. You have to go to OSCC's conference grid, but it's on the hypergrid, so you can look it up and go there. Go to conference.opensimulator.org. And you can find all the details there about how to hypergrid in and stuff like that, or how to register and actually get an account on a local account on the grid itself. And it's like going to something in Second Life or whatever. Very easy. And I'll be running 2 sessions at lunchtime on both days. The first looking at the new open source endeavors, shall we say, and interoperability. And the third, a bit more of a general look at the future, which I've called Back to the Future. And Ivo Haining, Adam Frisby, my key guests on Saturday, Susan Reiter and Dr. Fran Babcock, my key guests on the Sunday, but others too. So it should have some, I was about to say volatile conversation, but I don't think that's quite the right word. Interesting. We'll just stick with interesting, I think. Okay, so I'll leave that on screen there so that you can see it as I sign off. Right, okay, well, it's time to say goodbye from him.
And it would be goodbye from him.
That's it. You see, both of us saying goodbye in kind of unison, because when it comes to XR or MR or VR, or whatever or else, we are. Yes, we are at Metaworld News. Okay, folks, okay. Well, as I say, we won't be here same time, same place next week, but we will the week after. And then we'll see what our agenda's like for the holiday season. Meanwhile, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Mal Burns for all the links, and we'll catch up with some of them in a fortnight, but you can still get them by following me on Twitter. You just don't get the appalling commentary you get by watching here. Right. What else was I going to say? I think that's about it, really. Stay safe, everybody. Work indoors, work at home, avoid going out if you don't have to. We've now got yet a new variant on the old virus front, so more cause for alarm, of course. Just stay safe. What else can I say? And we will, of course, see you soon. So bye for now.